Hi, and welcome to day number 3 in this Master Your mindset training. As you know by now, I'm a psychologist and an entrepreneur, and I'm here to dedicate this week to mental health. And I have taken you through 2 videos by now, and this is number 3. And today we're going to set focus on your story. And you can sit out there and think, what does she mean by my story? Well, your story is what you tell yourself about yourself. What you tell yourself about other people, and what you tell yourself about the world. And we all have stories. We all have stories that's been created our entire life. Something we have told ourselves, but to a big extent, what we have been told by others. That is first and foremost what we have been told from our parents, from our teachers, from the people we have surrounded ourselves with. That when we were younger had a big effect on the view we started to have about ourselves. So the story we have about ourselves is based on what we have learned when we grew up. Let me give you an example. For me, I was told, Tina, you're not good at sports. Well, I was definitely not the best at sports, but I did my best. But up until my beginning of 20s, I still had this story in my mind that I was not good at sports. So actually being active, doing exercises, trying different kind of sports, I would not feel that confident because I had this idea, I had this story, this belief that, well, Tina, you're not good at sports. So that affected my view on myself and my view on what I could accomplish within different kinds of sports. So that was something I was told, and I started to believe that because the more you hear a certain thing about yourself, you can start to be like, oh, maybe they're right. Maybe that's not for me. Maybe that's me. And it starts to slowly build up as a story. And it became a view that I had on myself until I started to challenge that view and be like, okay, this might be my past story, but I decide not to believe that anymore. I decide to believe that I can create another story, that I can be a person who is good at sports, who is excited about sports, who wants to explore different kinds of sports. And when I started to do that, I also had to push myself into different environment and to start to show up and be like, you got this, Tina, you got this. You don't have to be really good at sports to start. And now my story around sport is that I'm good at it. It gives my body energy. It creates a good energy state, mental state. It keeps my body healthy, and I really enjoy doing sports these days. But you have to acknowledge, okay, this is my story, and do I want to keep going with that story, or do I want to change it? So I want for you to become aware of your story, and not just within sports, but in all areas of life. So what are your story around your self-confidence? What is your story around your self-worth? What is your story around your health, your body, your abilities in your work life, in your dating life, in whatever, like family life, and start to identify your story and whether that story is still true. It might be so deep down within that that's all you believe. But it might also be that you have different experiences now, different experiences from life that taught you otherwise, or new people come into your life and be like, you're really good at that, or that's not how I see you. And you can start to become more aware of whether that past story of yourself is actually supporting the self you want to be and the self you actually truly are. So we all have stories, and just to put it very simply, I just want to take you with me to my whiteboard again. So I want for you to look into your story. What you tell yourself, about other people, and about the world, and what you have been told, primarily from parents, teachers, people in charge, or people who felt they could judge you because you were not that confident at that point of time in your life. So what do you think about yourself? What do you think about other people? For example, are other people to be trusted? Are other people caring for you? Do other people love you and support you? Or do you have a belief that you need to gain other people's trust in order for them to lean in? What are your views on the world? Are the world a safe place to be? Do you believe in any sort of like higher thing, like the universe got your back, or that the world is safe and we are protected? What are your stories around the world? And write it all out. Like you can identify like areas of your life, let's say health, relationships, self-worth, sports, money, whatever makes sense to you, and just try to break it down and be like, what is my story, and is that story actually supporting me in the new story that I want to create, or in the person I want to be? So I hope that you would do this exercise within the next hour, because it's fresh in your mind. And I will take you through another exercise tomorrow. So until then, have a nice day.